Welcome everybody for joining tonight. Thank you for getting in on this webinar. Welcome to the webinar titled Navigating Financial Stress in a Pandemic. My name is Justin Hetz. I'm the Vice President of Operations at Flatwater Bank. And I'd like to say thank you to Gothenburg Early Childhood Coalition for partnering with Flatwater Bank to make this information available to everyone. The news surrounding the coronavirus outbreak is changing every day and updates constantly. It's important to create a plan for your household and your finances to ensure you'll be ready for whatever challenges you might face. If you have questions during the webinar, please use your chat icon and we will try and answer them at the end of the presentation. Jumping right into the webinar, I hope you get a lot of information out of this and enjoy what we're given to you tonight. Following are some actions you should consider. Review your spending and decide if adjustments need to be made. Your spending should be flexible. I gotta change the slide, I'm sorry. Just getting started, we're already have some bumps, but it'll get better. Review your spending and decide if adjustments need to be made. Your spending should be flexible under the current circumstances. And if your cash flow has changed because of reduced hour or a layoff, your spending should be adjusted until your income becomes more stable. Pause spending for fun money or travel money and reallocate those funds. Allocate any extra money to an emergency savings account. Adjust your grocery spending to allow for purchasing groceries every 2 weeks to limit your time in public spaces. With reduced travel and access to restaurants, in-store shopping, beauty appointments, and entertainment venues, make additional deposits to your emergency fund. Avoid supplementing in-store shopping for unnecessary online purchases. I think this one is a real challenge for myself as well as others that I know, especially when we have some downtime. What do we tend to do? We jump on our phones. We do surfing the web, we shop, things like that. Try to avoid buying extra things that you wouldn't normally buy in these times. Review your monthly fixed expenses like rent, mortgage, utilities, your auto loan payments, etc. Are you able to make these payments on time? If not, do your lenders have plans to help? Financially prepare for the long haul. With reports of empty store shelves, you might be tempted to stock up on groceries and supplies for the next 3 months or more. But rather than spending more than your normal budget, buy necessities every 2 weeks to help your budget go longer and abide by social distancing. We've all seen the pictures of the shopping cart full of toilet paper. If anybody can explain that to me, I'd be glad to listen. But that's some of the things that we want to try to avoid. Hopefully, with all the precautions being made to help prevent COVID-19 from sticking around, we will come out of this sooner than later. But nevertheless, you need to prepare for unexpected expenses and diligently plan and prioritize all your finances for the next few months. With advertised specials encouraging large or unplanned purchases on the rise, be cautious about committing to a purchase that might restrict your budget in the future. I know I've seen several commercials lately for vehicles, extending those payments long-term, 0% financing and things like that. Just remember, there will be a day that you have to pay those back. Make sure they fit into your budget. In some cases, you may be experiencing more income right now. With tax returns coming in, extra bonuses on unemployment income, or stimulus checks. In most cases, these increases in income are temporary. You need to make sure and use these funds wisely. Some of the things you could do is save for the future, create or add to an emergency fund, or pay down debt. When paying down debt, remember it's always best to pay down higher debt or higher interest rate debt first. Cut back expenses to the core. When income is reduced due to being laid off or working less hours, it will become critical to only spend your available resources when necessary. One way to help prepare for any future financial hardships is to analyze your expenses and cut anything unnecessary. Chances are some expenses will be cut by default, but other unusual expenses may start to add up. Prioritize new expenses and cut what is not necessary. Look at your consistent expenses like subscriptions and memberships and decide if you really need those. Are there ones that you can get rid of and quit partaking in? Continue to make your payments, and this is a big one. If your income hasn't fluctuated, or even if it is, prioritize your monthly bills and continue to make your payments on time. The 4 expenses that should be on top of most lists are housing, utilities, food, and transportation. It is crucial to make sure you save for rent and mortgage. Your next priority in bills should be your electricity and water. You may not be going very many places right now, so the money normally spent on travel could go towards putting food on the table and extra supplies for the household. While some relief options may be available, don't skip your scheduled payments unless you absolutely must. By skipping your payments, you're extending the life of your loan and your financial responsibility to pay later. In most cases, you will also continue to be charged interest rates for the total amount that you owe. Call your creditors and lenders. When out of options and you can't do anything else, it's always best to call your lender first. Some creditors have special programs as a result of the pandemic. Whatever actions you take, you must keep your credit report in mind, as some actions you take now may have long-standing effects on your credit score and can negatively affect you in the future. For student loans in March, the CARES Act became law, which provided broader relief for federal student loan borrowers. Interest rates are temporarily set to 0% going through September 30th of this year on all direct loans, Federal Family Education Loan Program loans, and Federal Perkins loans. Now, these are not loans that are to private lenders, but you may speak to the private lender and see if they have any plans in place as well. Federal student loan payments will also automatically stop until September 30th of 2020. This is administrative forbearance and will not affect your credit rating. However, as I said before, if you can still make your payments, it's the best plan to do so. Payments can still be made by contacting your lender and requesting to be opted out of the CARES Act. If you do not know who your loan servicer is, visit the website listed on the slide, studentaid.gov/login, or call 1-800-4FED-AID. For home loans, federal lenders and some private lenders are offering borrowers temporary help, like stopping and delaying foreclosure or modifying the mortgage. If you are facing trouble, call in advance of your next mortgage payment and talk to your lender as soon as possible. You may qualify for temporary suspension of foreclosures for 60 days starting in March. You may also qualify for forbearance for 180 days, which means you can ask your servicer to reduce or suspend your mortgage payments for that time. If you're still having problems, you can ask for another 6 months forbearance. Some banks, credit unions, and auto financing companies are letting people delay payments or renegotiate their payment schedules on vehicles. Contact your lender. You may be able to skip or defer your car payment. You may also be able to change your payment due date to better fit your budget. See if you can refinance your loan for a lower rate or longer term. If you agree to any changes with lenders, always get the information in writing. Watch out for these coronavirus scams. Unfortunately, during times of distress, people are especially vulnerable to fake products, phishing, and scam attacks. Because people and computer systems are stressed right now, they are also susceptible to hackers. Scammers follow the headlines, and many companies use half-truths, outright lies to sell their services or make promises but don't deliver. Only use irs.gov/coronavirus to submit information to the IRS. Remember, the IRS won't contact you about stimulus payment. You do not have to pay to get your money. We see scams all the time at the bank where individuals think they're going to get money and for some reason have to pay to get it. If you are due money, if you win a lottery, anything like that, you will never have to pay to get those unless it's taxes on the other end. If you receive credit-related robocalls, just hang up. There's no reason to answer those calls from robo machines, I guess. And to take that one step further, if you receive phone calls from numbers that you do not recognize, another good practice is to not answer those calls. Remember, IRS and Social Security will never call you on the phone. They will never email you, they will never text message you, and they do not use social media to communicate with people. They will only communicate via mail. Watch out for fake household goods. Shop only with trusted companies. Don't click on unsolicited emails or social media offerings for merchandise without doing research. If you look through Facebook at all, you'll see plenty of advertisements for different things out there, and a lot of them related directly to coronavirus. Don't trust those unless you do your research first. Many times these are scams or just trying to get more information from you. If you're going to donate to charities, watch out for illegitimate charities. Please do your research first or go through a firm that you trust and have done business with before. There are also mortgage relief scams. Federal law prohibits anybody from collecting a fee to help you with your mortgage. If you are hiring a firm to help you get mortgage relief, you do not have to pay unless they actually accomplish what they're talking about or what they promise. What not to do. During financial hardships, try to avoid building upon debt whenever possible. Before you start using credit cards, analyze your finances. Create a new budget and talk to professionals that can help. If you are faced with the need to use your credit cards, make sure you plan ahead. Look into the card's interest rates, credit limits, and late payment fees. After researching your options, adjust your budget to allot for a consistent credit card payment, which allows you to pay down the debt as much as possible while keeping your account in good standing. Don't overbuy or overspend. It's always important to have some essentials on hand. However, it is not necessary to stock up for months at a time. Having enough supplies on hand for a 2-week period is recommended. Make and utilize a list of essential items you need when shopping to help prevent unnecessary purchases. I know myself, if I go to the store without a list, I tend to buy more than I need. And I definitely don't want to go to the store if I'm hungry. Keep that in mind. Don't make non-refundable travel plans. If you had any upcoming travel plans, they were likely put on hold. Most hotels and airlines are actively waiving fees and rescheduling trips during this time. That said, don't be tempted to make any new travel plans right now. Some travel companies are offering low-cost deals for flights and hotels, but it is better to keep the money in your account for now. And scams, we've already touched base on. One thing I will tell you, that if you are find yourself dealing with a potential scam or something that you're not quite sure about, chances are your local banker has seen it, heard about it, or experienced it. I encourage you to always reach out to your trusted banker and talk to them about anything that you might be dealing with before committing, writing a check, wiring funds, or anything like that. Many times with just a few short questions, we can prohibit you from doing the transaction and save you from being victim of the fraud. Coronavirus stimulus payments. By now, many of you have already received your stimulus payments. However, if you have not, you can still check with the IRS. From the bank standpoint, it appears that we are receiving stimulus payments on Wednesdays for direct deposit. I know this Wednesday we have another batch of payments coming in, so there are still people that are waiting for their funds to show up. Who will all get the money? Any adult U.S. resident that meet established income limits, including taxpayers, retirees, beneficiaries, such as disability or veterans, and non-filers will all get this benefit. Most people don't have to do anything to get the money. The IRS will use the same payment method used to send the individual's tax refund, Social Security, retirement, or other government benefits money. They will use direct deposit, direct express debit card, or paper check. However you've received your money in the past is how it will come. If the IRS does not have your direct deposit information, you can go to Get My Payment at irs.gov/coronavirus and let them know where to send your direct deposit. If you're a non-filer, somebody with income less than $12,200 for individual or $24,400 for married couples, and you do not file taxes, you can go to the same website and access the non-filer portal to figure out what, if anything, you have to do to claim your money. To check the status of your payment, you can also use the Get My Payment features at irs.gov/coronavirus. These links are provided by the IRS and are subject to change, but most of the information that I've seen on there has been fairly stable for the last week or so. Laid off, furloughed, fewer hours, or unemployed. Unemployment insurance provides benefits, usually in the form of weekly payments to eligible workers who become unemployed through no fault of their own. In March, the new federal law greatly expanded unemployment insurance. Many workers who were not previously covered are now eligible. The new law also increased the weekly benefits amount that states currently provide by $600 until July 31st of 2020. The new law also provides an additional 13 weeks of benefits for people who are still unemployed after their state benefit period runs out. I've listed website addresses on the slide for the state of Nebraska, and they are providing updates on unemployment insurance related to COVID on a regular basis. There's one link there for information, and if you wish to file for unemployment, the bottom link will get you to where you need to go. That brings us to creating a budget. This is an important exercise for anybody, regardless of the pandemic or not. I think it's sound financial advice for every person, individual, or couple to have a budget created. It helps you reach your goals financially and know where your dollars are going. If you struggle from debt or are looking to take control of your finances, you will need to make a few changes and preparing and adhering to a budget is the beginning. First step is to start right now. You're never going to dig out of the hole if you don't stop digging right now. Stop using credit cards, and in some cases, if it's really bad, you may have to revert to using cash only to restrict your spending. Budgeting is an ongoing process. Staying disciplined can be hard, but even if you stumble, it's important to get back up and keep going. Budgets can be adjusted, and there's no goal you can't reach without the right amount of practice. Track your spending. Before you start creating a budget, you need to be aware of where your money is spent. Track your spending over the next month and make notes of how much you spend on things like bills, loans, living expenses, entertainment funds, groceries, and everyday purchases. The total of these expenses will be your monthly spending. It's important that you track everything and stick with it. Every single cup of coffee that you buy, candy bar, or pop at the gas station, track those funds spent. While tracking your spending, categorize each bill or purchase into separate categories like housing, utilities, amenities, loans, medical, taxes, entertainment, and the list goes on and on. Calculate your income. Once you know how much you spend a month, you need to calculate how much you have coming in. Include every source of income you have, no matter how small. Every amount of money that comes in is considered a source of income, and you should be applying it toward your budget for expenses and debt payments and goals. After you've calculated your income and tracked your spending, it's time to think about setting goals. You need to have a reason to change. Some of the most common are eliminating credit card debt, buying a home or car, and child's education or saving for a retirement. After completing all the other steps, it's time to create your budget, which includes balancing your budget and trimming the excessive spending. First, subtract your total monthly expenses from your total monthly income. If it's negative, you will need to find areas to cut your expenses, or in some cases, if possible, increase your income. It's helpful to look at expenses in two categories: necessary needs or discretionary wants. Discretionary are the first places where cuts can be made. Every situation is not the same for every person, and so it's hard to determine exactly how much money should be spent in every budget category, but here is a general idea. Housing, you should be spending 35 to 45%. Transportation should be 15 to 25%. Utilities should be 8 to 15%. Food, 10 to 20%. Medical, 8 to 15%. Clothing, 5 to 10%. Savings, 5 to 10%. And debt payments, 20%. Savings are a crucial part of your budget, and you should strive to save as much as possible for emergencies, retirement, and other goals. As you pay down debt and reduce your debt load, increase your savings. Budgeting can be very difficult, but if you stick with it, you will excel. Still not sure what to aim for? Here are some personal financial goal examples that can help you get started. Life is unpredictable, and it's important to be prepared. Saving for emergencies is one of the only goals that is a necessity. Paying off high-interest credit cards is one of the most common financial goals. The best way to make real progress is to make more than the minimum payment and stop borrowing against the card. Saving for retirement is also one of those goals that you work on nearly your entire life. Remember, however, the earlier you start, the better off you'll be in the end. Another great long-term goal is home ownership. It's one of the largest financial targets to aim for most people. Having a monthly car payment should not be a staple of life, so try to pay off vehicles as fast as you can. You need to avoid having the debt be more than the vehicle's worth in the end. College education, whether you're a student paying off your own balance or a parent saving for the child's education, college tuition is easily a substantial goal to base your budget on. Also, plan for fun. While most financial goals are oriented around being responsible, you should always try to aim for fun goals, like a nice vacation, a new TV, or any other unnecessary thing that you simply want. If you work hard and save diligently, you deserve to reward yourself with some fun saving goals. Plus, it's a great way to practice self-discipline and goal setting. Budgeting on the website that we're going to post on both the bank website and the GECLC website, there are a couple tools for help planning and budgeting. There is a weekly planner worksheet in there, as well as a monthly budgeting worksheet. So please check those out. Additional resources. I'll have Nicole Hetz talk to you about this slide about additional resources.
All right, thank you. Okay, very good. Thank you, Justin, for all that very helpful information. I hope you all found it as helpful and interesting as I did. You can see now the slide we have lists some additional resources. If you are still interested in learning more, or if there are specific areas that you're looking for more resources in, these are great places to start. Right now, there are a lot of resources available. A lot of requirements for these programs and services have been relaxed or lessened due to the pandemic. So if you've applied for these services in the past and maybe been denied, now's a good time to apply again. There they're always reevaluating, and so we have this list of resources available. This list will also be posted on the GECLC website and the Flatwater Bank website for your reference. Also, you'll notice under Family Services is the Gothenburg Early Childhood Learning Coalition contact information. If there are additional resources that you're interested in, feel free to contact me. The GECLC is working with families to help connect them to services and resources, so I'd be happy to help make those connections if I can. I would like to say thank you to everyone who attended tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us, and I hope you found it helpful and informative. As a way of saying thank you, we would like to offer attendees the opportunity to be entered into a drawing for one of our $50 Peterson's gift cards. Along with that, we're really interested in hearing what you think. We're looking for your input on the webinar tonight, as well as additional webinar topics that you might be interested in. If you scan the code on the screen with your smartphone camera or jot down that forms link, it will take you to an online form. It's also in the chat box, and you can click on that when we're done here. It'll take you directly to the form. It'll give you an opportunity to just share your input on the webinar tonight completely anonymously. So you are invited to just share your thoughts. If you'd like to be entered in the drawing, go to the second page of the survey and enter your name and your contact information and press submit. Any survey that we receive by noon tomorrow will be entered in the drawing, and the winners will be contacted by email. So please take a minute when we're done here to go online and share your thoughts with us. Let us know if there are other webinars or other topics that we can cover for you. And also, if you have any questions, you can put them in the survey and we can answer those one-on-one, or you can take just a minute now to type them in the chat box and we can answer them right here before we go.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. I hope you got some good information from the webinar. And remember, if you have questions going forward, we're always available at the bank to talk with you about your budget, to help you make decisions that are financially responsible, and help guide you in any way that we can. So again, I know Nicole said it, but a copy of this presentation, as well as all resources, can be found on the Flatwater Bank's website, as well as the GECLC website. Hope you enjoyed it. And if I don't believe there's any questions that have come in yet tonight, but again, use the survey and ask them if you do have some. We'll be happy to get back to you. Stay safe, have a good night, and take care of yourselves. Thank you.